The pages of history are filled with powerful rulers who shaped empires and altered the fate of entire civilizations. They are remembered for their victories, their influence, and their brilliance, but hidden behind the glory and grandeur lie stories that reveal their darker, more unsettling sides. Today, we step into the shadowy corners of history to uncover the dark secrets of three of the most famous rulers the world has ever known: Nero, Genghis Khan, and Cleopatra. Their names echo through time, but the truth behind their legends may surprise you. Let us begin in ancient Rome with the infamous Emperor Nero, a man remembered as much for his cruelty as for his crown. Nero's reign from 54 to 68 AD is one of the most scandalous in Roman history. Born into the powerful Julio-Claudian dynasty, Nero rose to power at a young age, but his insecurities and paranoia made him one of Rome's most feared emperors. One of the darkest stories tied to Nero is the Great Fire of Rome in 64 AD. As flames devoured nearly 3/4 of the city, rumors spread that Nero himself had ordered the fire to clear space for his grand new palace, the Domus Aurea, or Golden House. Whether he truly played the role of arsonist remains debated, but his reaction after the disaster only fueled suspicion. Instead of mourning with his people, Nero built lavishly upon the ashes of their homes, indulging in gold leaf walls, fountains, and extravagant halls. To shift blame away from himself, he targeted one of Rome's minority groups, the Christians. He accused them of starting the fire, and what followed was one of the earliest waves of persecution. Christians were burned alive, crucified, and thrown to wild beasts, all for a crime they did not commit. But perhaps even more chilling are Nero's personal acts of cruelty. He ordered the murder of his own mother, Agrippina the Younger, after she became too influential in political affairs. Historians recount how his first attempt to kill her by collapsing a boat failed, forcing Nero to send assassins to finish the task. He also allegedly kicked his pregnant wife Poppaea to death in a fit of rage. While some argue Nero was more showman than monster, history has painted him as an emperor who let vanity, paranoia, and cruelty overshadow his rule. From the streets of Rome, we now travel eastward to the vast steppes of Mongolia, where Genghis Khan rose from obscurity to become one of the most feared conquerors in history. Born as Temujin around 1162, he endured hardship from the very beginning. His father was poisoned, his family abandoned, and he grew up in a world of betrayal and survival. These early struggles forged in him a ruthless determination that would later build an empire stretching from China to Europe. Genghis Khan is remembered for his unmatched military genius, but behind the strategies and victories lie stories of unrelenting brutality. As he expanded his empire, he showed little mercy to those who resisted. Entire cities were annihilated, populations wiped out, and the ground stained with blood. One of his darkest acts was the massacre of Nishapur in 1221. After his son-in-law was killed, Genghis ordered a brutal revenge. Reports say over 1 million people were slaughtered, though modern historians suggest it was likely fewer. Still, the destruction was catastrophic. Men, women, and children were executed, and the city was left in ruins. But the shadow of Genghis Khan extends beyond warfare. He took countless women as wives and concubines, often as spoils of war, and his genetic legacy is so vast that it is believed millions of people today carry his DNA. Yet, for all his cruelty, Genghis Khan was also a paradox. He established one of the first merit-based systems, promoted trade along the Silk Road, and even encouraged religious tolerance. His dark secrets lie not in the way he ruled his empire, but in the rivers of blood that paved his path to power. He was both destroyer and builder, remembered with equal parts fear and admiration. Finally, we move to ancient Egypt, to the land of pharaohs and pyramids, where Cleopatra VII, one of history's most legendary queens, held power. Unlike Nero and Genghis Khan, Cleopatra is often romanticized in art, literature, and film. She is remembered as a seductress, the woman who charmed Julius Caesar and Mark Antony, yet the darker truths of her reign are often overshadowed by myth. Cleopatra was a master of political survival in a world dominated by men. To secure her throne, she eliminated rivals without hesitation. Historical records suggest she had her siblings executed to remove any challenge to her power. Her younger sister, Arsinoe IV, was dragged from a temple sanctuary and murdered on Cleopatra's orders, a shocking act that even Rome viewed as sacrilege. While many see her as a victim of circumstance, Cleopatra was also a calculating strategist who wielded her beauty and intelligence as weapons. Aligning herself with Julius Caesar ensured her return to the throne, and later her partnership with Mark Antony secured Egypt's influence for a time. Yet her ambition ultimately led to tragedy. After Antony's defeat at the Battle of Actium, Cleopatra chose to die rather than be paraded as a prisoner in Rome. Legend tells us she ended her life with the bite of an asp, though historians still debate the true method of her suicide. Cleopatra's dark secrets lie in the shadows of her ambition. She was ruthless in eliminating threats, manipulative in forging alliances, and unafraid to use death as a political tool. Her story is not merely of beauty and romance, but of power, control, and survival in one of history's most ruthless arenas. What binds these three rulers together, Nero, Genghis Khan, and Cleopatra, is the reminder that greatness often comes with a cost. They were brilliant in their own ways, Nero as a performer who sought to dazzle, Genghis Khan as a conqueror who united tribes into an empire, and Cleopatra as a strategist who held her throne in a male-dominated world. Yet their legacies are marred by cruelty, ambition, and bloodshed. Behind the golden crowns and flowing robes were human beings driven by fear, desire, and the unquenchable thirst for power. As we look back on their lives, we must ask ourselves, should we admire them for their achievements or condemn them for their brutality? History rarely offers simple answers. Perhaps the truth lies somewhere in the middle. These rulers remind us that power can inspire both greatness and horror, and that the line between legend and darkness is often razor thin. The world remembers their names, not just for what they built, but for the shadows they left behind.